Alright, you lot. EA is about to disappear off stock market and straight into back pockets of a Saudi-backed billionaire boy band led by Jared fucking Kushner and a private equity vulture who'd sell the nan if it improved quarterly yield. $50 billion. That's not a merger, that's a bloody ransom note. EA's going private, and that means no more shareholders, no more public scrutiny, and no more pretending they care about player trust. One of the biggest takeovers in gaming history is getting cooked behind closed doors. And blokes doing cooking don't even play games, they play nations. This is what happens when Golden Goose is too fat to fly. They lock it in a vault, carve it up, sell you feathers. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though, cause on paper this sounds like a bloody dream come true. EA breaking free from hamster wheel of public shareholders and quarterly earnings calls. That's like letting a dog off leash in the butcher's shop. No more tiptoeing around investor expectations. No more neutering projects cause it won't shift stocks by 2%. This could mean actual risk-taking, creative swings, new IPs that aren't just some regurgitated loot box dispenser with a different skin. Imagine an EA that doesn't have to suck Wall Street's wallet just to get a green light. Sounds like kind of chaos gaming's been starving for. And with Saudi backing, there's no shortage of cash. We're not talking middle-tier publisher money, we're talking $900 billion sovereign wealth fund money. They could bankroll projects bigger than Star Citizen and still have enough left over to buy half at App Store. If they wanted to make FIFA free to play to crack India or Africa wide open, they could. If they wanted to undercut Sony and Microsoft just to flex, they could. Imagine a Dead Space remake that ain't stitched together with duct tape and apology tweets. Or a Battlefield that actually gets finished before launch and doesn't treat player base like unpaid QA. Then there's AI. Yeah, it's terrifying, but used right, could be a dev's dream. Faster iteration, fewer delays, real-time fixes, might even bring back golden age of tight single-player experiences. If they decide to go that route. You could see something truly new from EA for the first time in years, instead of another yearly reskin with last year's bugs still crawling around menus. It could be brilliant. It could be bold. It could be EA we all wanted back when we still gave a toss about N7 Day and Command & Conquer. But that's magic trick, innit? All this promise, all this freedom, and not a single guarantee that any of it will actually serve you. Cause when lights come up and curtains drop, you're gonna see who's really sitting in director's chair. And trust me, it ain't a gamer. Here's where the room starts getting cold. You thought private meant freedom. It means isolation. It means no one watching when they start swinging axe. You thought Saudis with deep pockets meant they'd spend big on new IP. Nah. Means they'll squeeze ever-loving shit out of what already works, and bin out that don't come with guaranteed monetization baked in like Tesco meal deal. This ain't about creativity, this is about control. And AI? It's not a dev tool, it's a scalpel for gutting payroll. You think AI is here to help devs? Bollocks! It's here to make them liabilities. Writers out, artists trimmed, testers replaced by algorithmic pattern checks. You don't need QA when a machine tells you where players will walk. You don't need world builders when you can tell AI make a forest, add campfire, insert quest. What you get then is a skeleton wrapped in a plastic skin, every title polished like a showroom dummy, all as a wet crisp packet, games made by machines to milk meat bags. You. And don't expect price to drop either. This ain't charity. Even if they save millions firing half at team and outsourcing creativities to the script engine, they'll still charge you 70 quid up front, 30 quid season pass rammed up its arse, 3 premium currencies shoved in your face like a mugshot. They're eyeing scale, global scale, which means squeezing every last drop from regions that can afford it to subsidise ones that can't. And here's bit nobody's clocked yet. Saudi Arabia doesn't just want profit, they want influence, control platforms, shape narratives, decide what characters exist, what stories get told, what cultural lines never get crossed. You think they'll tolerate LGBTQ plus characters in future BioWare titles? You think they'll let strong female lead call shots in a shooter? That shit's already under scrutiny. It's not about your politics, it's about who gets to decide what culture means in games going forward. And spoiler alert, it ain't devs. It's lads writing checks with government oil money. So no, this ain't just a cash grab, it's a cultural rewrite. By the time you realise tone's changed, choices are gone. Stories all sound like they're written by a bloody algorithm. It'll be too late. And this ain't just about EA. This is next domino in global takeover at entire bloody industry. Activision got swallowed by Microsoft, and everybody clapped like seals cause Game Pass made the wallets feel fuzzy. Now EA is about to vanish into Saudi-led shadow cabinet, and it's being pitched like a new dawn. What's next? Ubisoft being bought by Nestle? Capcom auctioned off to highest bidder on Alibaba? This ain't game development anymore. This is colonialism by wallet. You're not a player, you're inventory. They're not making games to push boundaries or build worlds anymore. They're crafting engagement loops. Algorithm-approved dopamine dispensers with emotional depth that are fart in a wetsuit. And every decision is being made 3 floors above devs by someone who never picked up a controller in their life. They're not asking, is it fun? They're asking, can it be monetized? Will it trend? Will it avoid political blowback in every market with bot influence in? Next generation of games won't even be made for you, they'll be made for metrics, built by AI, sanitized by risk consultants, shaped by fund managers with geopolitical agendas. They'll still call them games, but you won't feel like playing them. Just another set of tasks to unlock your next skin, another battle pass grind to make sure you log in daily or miss out. You won't be playing, you'll be participating in a live product cycle with monthly check-ins and seasonal objectives, like some digital hamster hooked on a pellet drop. And scariest part? You'll stop noticing. You'll get used to it. You'll defend it. You'll point at critics and say, it's not that bad actually, you're just haters. Because that's how industry breaks you. Slowly, systematically, with just enough polish to hide rot underneath, like Activision has. And if EA goes through with this, we'll look back at microtransactions like they were good old days. But it's kicker. None of this will matter to fans. Not one bloody bit. FIFA drones will keep queuing up every year like good little consumers. Wallets open, brains off. Battlefield could ship with a disc glued shut and they'd still pre-order Deluxe Edition for a skin that looks like a packet of beef Space Raiders. EA could announce every future title has been written by ChatGPT running on a Raspberry Pi powered by fossil fuels and goat tears, and comment section would still be full of, looks promising, day one for me. Twonks don't care. They don't want innovation. They want routine, predictability. That sweet little dopamine fix that comes from unlocking a new badge or pack of Ultimate Team bollocks. You could have a literal oil baron on stage saying, we now own your childhood memories, and they'd clap cause graphics are shinier. This is the same crowd that screamed about loot boxes for 5 years, then dropped 50 quid on digital card packs while pretending it were for their kids. And don't think influencers will save you either. They've already lined up like pigs at a trough. Sponsored content, early access, influencer events with more NDAs than common sense. They'll smile into camera and say, big things coming, and then spend 15 minutes pretending not to notice monetization menu now has its own DLC. They'll tell you to wait and see, just like they did when Battlefield 2042 launched with physics are a drunk pigeon and AI a mashed potato. Meanwhile, restorers get dragged along for the ride, screaming into the void while industry turns into a subscription service with a side of national propaganda. But fans won't care. They'll be too busy arguing about player ratings on Twitter, proudly buying shovel that's digging grave for everything they used to love. So that's where we're at. EA is about to disappear behind a very expensive curtain held up by oil money, Wall Street ambition, and a man whose qualifications include Donald Trump's bloody son-in-law. On paper, it's a new era of freedom. In practice, it's a death of transparency, rise of algorithm-driven design, and a future where games are shaped more by geopolitical strategy than creativity. Shareholders are gone, but leash is shorter than ever. You'll get flashier graphics, shinier menus, maybe even cheaper subs in some regions. But soul, risk, magic, is getting carved out piece by piece, until all that's left is monetized sludge in a box with a premium sticker on front. And if you're still thinking this won't affect you, ask yourself this. When games you love stop feeling like games, will you even notice? Or will you just keep logging in, grinding daily, pre-ordering deluxe, and calling it not that bad? Join Discord, follow on X, links are in description. Consider a channel membership if you want to help fund this chaos and keep me independent. Smash like it, subscribe, drop your comments and questions below if you've still got your soul. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.